Good Pikmin forning! Good morning, my Pikmin friends. Friends. It is September 13th, 2022. I watched the Nintendo Direct this morning. I went and got breakfast afterward. I am back here recording this now to give you my thoughts on what was shown. As per usual, I'll only be summarizing the things that aren't coming from Nintendo themselves. So, It Takes Two, friggin' Tunic, a lot of farm games, a lot of JRPGs. I don't care. There wasn't even a game among those, aside from maybe the Front Mission remakes, but even them, not so much. Just nothing I cared about on that front. Nothing that stands out, nothing worth mentioning. So let's move on. The first thing they showed was Fire Emblem Engage. I do not care. I not only don't care too much about Fire Emblem, I really don't like this heavy, anime trope thing they've leaned in here. The main character has mismatched colored eyes, they have amnesia, they're over 1,000 years old, they're descendants of the god, they're friends with all the past Fire Emblem heroes. It's the worst of anime tropes. I can't stand it. It's the same thing with Xenoblade 2, and Xenoblade 3 to an extent. It's this stuff, it's so unappealing. It deters me from wanting to give it a chance, If that's what you like out of your games, then you just like different things than me, and that's perfectly fine. I respect the fact that I don't care about Fire Emblem Engage, or Xenoblade 3 for that matter. Some DLC was announced, like a Blade girl, I guess. Splatoon 3 has a new Splatfest coming out, freaking who would have thought. NSO, a new Nintendo 64 roadmap for Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass was revealed. You got the first 3 Mario parties, GoldenEye, Excitebike, 1080, Pilot Wings, both Pokemon Stadium games. They're really making the most out of the Nintendo 64 selection, so that is good. I'm still not paying $50 a month for it. I'm sorry, you've got to do more than that to justify that price point, in my opinion. Mario Strikers Battle League is getting DLC. Who would have thought? Who would have frickin' thought? I don't care. Nintendo Switch Sports Golf Update. Freaking this game is such a joke, man. Golf, it's not only is golf not included at launch, but it got delayed. The update for golf got delayed to winter of this year. Part of me is left to suspect that Nintendo EPD4 have, more pressing matters. The game sold well, so obviously they gotta deliver on their promise and everything, but Nintendo probably says, yeah, we don't want to do or have to do anything after golf. So if you guys want to go ahead and start working on, a new IP, an art game, a launch title for our next system a couple of years from now, Tomodachi Life, If you guys want to get to work on one of those things, yeah, you can go ahead and put Switch Sports on the back burner for a bit, it's fine. Pikmin 4 is the big one. Pikmin 4 was the announcement of the Direct. If Pikmin 4 wasn't announced, I would have thought this was the weakest Direct of the year, of which there have been 2, but either way. And the one that came before it wasn't particularly strong either. But yeah, Pikmin 4 is coming, and I am ecstatic. I became a Pikmin fan in 2020 with 3 Deluxe, and I fell in love with it. I play it all the time. The missions, I go for all the medals. I replay the game with completionist or speedrunning tactics. I love it so much. And yeah, Pikmin 4 is coming in 2023. That means that even if Pikmin Bloom and Hey Pikmin and Pikmin 3 Deluxe hadn't released, Pikmin still wouldn't have ever qualified for my neglected series criteria. Because Pikmin 3, the first time around, came out in 2013, this game's coming out in 2023, it just barely missed out on going a decade without new releases. Except, it didn't, because Pikmin Bloom and Hey Pikmin and Pikmin 3 Deluxe also count, so, yeah, Nintendo likes Pikmin. Nintendo's put Pikmin on the back burner, but Pikmin might get more frequent releases now because Pikmin 3 Deluxe sold pretty darn well, and I suspect that Pikmin 4 will sell even better, so fingers crossed that turns out to be the case, because I do love Pikmin, and would love to see more frequent releases, come out for it. Mario Kart 8 is getting more tracks. I didn't even pay attention to what they were. I don't care about Mario Kart, as my audience might know. As my audience might also know, I care more about what the Mario Kart team has made recently that wasn't Mario Kart, which is ARMS. ARMS 2 didn't get announced in this Direct. If ARMS 2 isn't announced in the Spring Direct of next year, of, February, March 2023, if ARMS 2 isn't announced, then I'm going to assume the series is just not coming back until Nintendo's next console, if ever. Just, I've done this song and dance before with F-Zero and Custom Robo. It's happening again. Min Min may have gotten in Smash, but doesn't matter. It doesn't appear to matter. I can't hold out hope for this series. It's just gonna break my heart. Bayonetta 3 is releasing the week of Halloween. Who would have seen it coming? Kirby's return to Dreamland Deluxe. That was a surprise. We got Kirby in the Forgotten Land this year. We got Kirby's Dream Buffet this year. And to cap off the end of this fiscal year for February of 2023, they've remade, it appears, or, reskinned, retooled, whatever you want to say, deluxe port, I don't care. Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I own that game on the Wii. I have a lot of great fond memories of playing it when it came out. It's a good game. I'm not going to pay for it again. I don't have that big of a need to replay it, and if I did, I would play it on my Wii with the copy that I got in 2012 or whenever it released. Last Nintendo-related announcement from that Direct. The Legend of Zelda sequel to Breath of the Wild's official title is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That's a pretty melodramatic title. It sounds more like a Final Fantasy game than a Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I understand what it's trying to invoke. Breath of the Wild implies that there is life in the world, in the untamed world that Ganon besieged. And this title, to me, seems to be saying that the new kingdom is mourning the loss of the old one. Or, conversely, that the kingdom that fell to the siege, 1,100 years ago or whatever it was, is, crying. It's sadness. It's sadness and sorrow. Friggin' hoobity-hoo. I'm not invested enough in the Breath of the Wild part of the Zelda universe to care, quite frankly. I don't know, I think art style plays into it a little bit. I think the fact that it was just so overexposed when it was new, I just sort of had no intention of going in myself and trying it out. Breath of the Wild doesn't repel my sensibilities as hard as something like Xenoblade or Fire Emblem, but it also just doesn't mesh with me. I don't care for it. And, and that's fine, But either way, that is a significant piece of information to get out of this Direct, So that's something. That's a point in its favor. This title that we've been waiting a while for, the Nintendo fandom at large has been waiting for, has a name and a release date. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is coming out May 2023. Cool. But yeah, aside from that, like I said, from our third-party friends, there was a bunch of ports and JRPGs and dungeon crawlers and farm games and farm game JRPG dungeon crawler hybrids, multiple of those. Yeah, overall a fairly underwhelming Direct, but Pikmin 4. Yay, Pikmin 4. One other thing to mention, I almost walked away without recording this, but what happened to Advance Wars? The game was done! The game was finished! You were gonna release it in April, but then decided not to because of forces outside your control, Nintendo. Was it really that crucial that you prevent this stylistic, war game from releasing during a time where war was being waged? Do you really think that the conflict is going to be resolved in a, timely manner as to make the release less offensive somehow? I can't think of any really truly logical reason why you wouldn't just release Advance Wars already. And if they've begun a mad dash scramble to alter the game, compromise the integrity or faithfulness of the remake, specifically to shy away from events in the script that are similar to how the events of the Ukraine war started, that's just not a good idea, I don't think. It's a lot of trouble over nothing, really. I don't think that people would have had a negative reaction, or Nintendo would have felt any kind of negative knockback from just having released Advance Wars when they planned to in the first place. And now it appears to be the case that it's not coming out this year at all. It was supposed to come out in 2021 but got delayed. And then they finished it and delayed it again indefinitely. My heart bleeds for you, Advance Wars fans. If this was the fate of an F-Zero game or Custom Robo game, I would be so upset. And I'm upset about this. I'm not that upset. And at the end of the day, video games aren't worth getting that upset over in general. But still, what a bum deal. I am so sorry. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you care to do so. I don't have the energy for these videos, man. The scripted stuff is where it's at. But that stuff just takes longer to make. But I do have a new review coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you want to see that. It's about Gigabash. It's a fun time. It'll be a fun time. I'll see you the next time I see you. Pledge to my Patreon if you want to.